How to say goodbye in Chinese?
Goodbye, 再见。Have a good day. 祝你有美好的一天。嘿，再见，祝你有美好的一天。好，拜拜。
Hello, 大家好, I'm Grace. In Chinese, 再见 can be used when saying goodbye. That's true, but in many contexts, it sounds rather formal. In everyday life, especially in casual situations, people often just say bye bye, bye bye. Yes, just like in English.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And besides saying bye-bye, there are certain phrases that are very commonly used when we're leaving or seeing someone off. In English, you might say things like, have a good one or have a good rest of your day. In Chinese, we don't usually say those phrases. Instead, we tend to use different expressions. So today, we're going to learn 10 go-to phrases that native Chinese speakers commonly use when saying goodbye. 我们开始吧。By the way, I've created a downloadable PDF that lists all the phrases you will learn today. Using the handout with today's video will help you learn more efficiently. You can get the PDF by joining my Patreon membership, which is also a great way to support me in creating more content. Alright, the first go-to phrases when saying goodbye is 我先走了。我先走了。
那我先走了。我先走了。
I've explained this phrase in one of my previous videos, so let's take a look at it first. The literal meaning of 我先走了 is I'm gonna go first, and is similar to I'm leaving or I'm heading out in English. 我先走了 is used when you're leaving ahead of others. For example, you're leaving your office when your colleagues are still there, or you're leaving a party early. You can say 我先走了，再见。我先走了，再见。Or 我先走了，拜拜。我先走了，拜拜。
先生，我先走了，拜拜。
You might also hear people use 我走了，我走了 or 我走啦，我走啦 to let others know they're leaving.
我走了。
我走了。那我走了。
拜拜。
When the context is clear, people might omit the 我 and just say 走了，走了 or 走啦，走啦。When you're leaving before others because you have something else to do, here's a very useful phrase to use. 我还有事。我还有事。It means I've got something to do. Or 我还有点事。我还有点事。I've got a few things to do. So you can say 我还有点事。我先走了，拜拜。我还有点事，我先走了，拜拜。I've got a few things to do, so I'm heading out. Bye. Or you can omit the second 我 and just say 我还有点事，先走了，拜拜。我还有点事，先走了，拜拜。
你慢慢吃，我还有点事，先走了。
Did you notice that he said 你慢慢吃，你慢慢吃？
你慢慢吃，你慢慢吃。
This is another common thing we say when we're leaving before others. 你慢慢吃 literally means you eat slowly, but it's similar to saying enjoy your meal in English. we often use the pattern subject 慢慢 verb, subject 慢慢 verb to let others know that it's okay to continue what they're doing at a relaxed pace without rushing, especially when we're leaving and don't want them to feel pressured. This is like saying, take your time to, in English. For example, if you're leaving a dinner early and your friends are still eating and chatting, you can say to them, 你们慢慢吃，我先走了。你们慢慢吃，我先走了。You guys enjoy your meal. I'm heading out. Or 你们慢慢聊，我先走了。你们慢慢聊，我先走了。Enjoy your chat. I'm heading out. Here's another similar expression.
各位，我先走了，因为公司有点事情，你们慢慢玩。
各位，我先走了，因为公司有点事情，你们慢慢玩。各位，我先走了，因为公司有点事情，你们慢慢玩。In Taiwanese Mandarin, 因为公司有点事情，你们慢慢玩。Here he says, 你们慢慢玩。你们慢慢玩 to tell others not to feel rushed just because he's leaving. He hopes they can relax and keep enjoying themselves.
你们慢慢玩，你们慢慢玩。
The next phrase is 慢走，慢走。
慢走。
慢走。
谢谢了哈。好，你慢走。
慢走 literally means walk slowly. But in Chinese, it's a simple polite expression used when someone is leaving to show your concern and respect for them, similar to saying take care in English.
老陈啊，谢谢你哦，慢慢。
Just know that 慢走 can sound quite polite and a bit formal, so it's more often used when saying goodbye to someone older or less familiar. Close friends usually don't use this phrase with each other. Alright, another go-to phrase when saying goodbye is 路上小心。路上小心。
再见。
路上 means on the way, and 小心 means be careful. So 路上小心 expresses the meaning of take care on your way. It's a phrase used to show concern for someone's safety when they're about to leave.
我得先走了，
快去吧，路上小心。
One important thing to understand about Chinese goodbye culture is that people often like to show concern for you, such as your safety or health. Here's another common phrase that shows care. 早点休息。早点休息 or 早点休息。早点休息。
早点休息，我走了。
早点休息 means get some rest early or go to bed early. You might think 早点休息 sounds like something parents would say to their kids, but it's actually a very common phrase people use when saying goodbye at night. It's kind of like saying don't stay up till late. It doesn't feel condescending at all. Let's see an example.
那我们明天见。Then I will see you tomorrow. 你早点休息。Don't stay up too late. 好 OK 你也早点休息 You too, don't stay up too late 晚安 Good night
Next, we have several useful phrases that we often use to show our intention to meet up or talk to the other person again. I've taught them in one of my previous videos, so let's take a look. After you hang out with others, you might say something like, we should hang out again sometime, or let's meet up again next time. In Chinese, you can say 有空再约有空再约 Other than 有空再约 you can also say 有机会再聊有机会再聊 or 下次再聊下次再聊 They mean talk to you later. So for example, you can say 我先走了下次再聊拜拜 The next phrase is 那先这样那先这样
好，那先这样，先走了啊，再见。
那先这样 expresses the meaning of alright, let's leave it here for now, or alright, that's it for now. You might also hear people say 那就先这样，那就先这样 or 那先这样吧，那先这样吧 or simply 先这样，先这样 They're all often used when ending a conversation, and it's especially common during phone calls. Because when you're not speaking face to face, there's no body language to show that you're about to leave. So people use phrases like this to end the call naturally. Let's see some examples.
哎，大俊，那就先这样好吗？行，拜拜。哎，
那就先这样好吗？行，拜拜。那就先这样好吗？行，拜拜。Alright, let's leave it here for now, okay? Yeah, okay, bye.
那先这样吧，下次咱们再聊。拜拜。
那先这样吧，下次咱们再聊，拜拜。那先这样吧，下次咱们再聊，拜拜。Alright, that's it for now. We will chat next time. Bye.
我没事，先这样。
我没事，先这样。我没事，先这样。I'm good. Let's leave it here for now. Alright, the last phrase is time plus 见. Time plus 见. For example, if you're going to see the other person the next day, you can say 明天见。明天见。See you tomorrow.
明天见。
谢谢，明天见，拜拜。
If you're going to see them the next week, you can say 下星期见。下星期见。Or 下星期见。下星期见。If you're not sure when you will see the other person again, you can say 下次见。下次见。Which means see you next time.
好啊，那下次见，凯迪熊。
Alright, that's all the phrases for today. It's important to know that learning a language is not just learning to translate words. You also need to learn the cultural aspect. What is appropriate to say in different contexts? If you want to learn about our greeting culture, how we greet in Chinese, check out this video. Also, if you want to get the handout which contains all of today's phrases and support my work, don't forget to check out my Patreon. If you join my Patreon membership, you will get a weekly mini podcast and learning content to study real-life Chinese. Hope to see you there. 那如果你喜欢今天的影片，别忘记按赞、订阅和分享哦。And last but not least, if you want to learn some daily Mandarin expressions, check out my Instagram, Grace Mandarin. 那先这样，我们下次见喽，拜拜。